There have been formal announcements made by 4,000 financial organizations that they would utilize XRP by the end of 2025. This has caused the price of XRP to possibly surge, as Forbes has verified that it will reach over 59,472 during the next 6 to 8 months, and it might even potentially reach over $100,000 at some point. In the next days, 654 trillion will start streaming into the XRP ledger, according to a prediction made by Brad Gunning. He also claimed that Bitcoin will hit $200,000 by the end of the year, and that XP will exceed it. When I say that, I mean that it is fairly obvious that the price of Bitcoin right now is currently hovering at 107,000. It is also worth noting that even only a few weeks ago, the price of a single Bitcoin was hovering close to 100,000. Consequently, this is the reason why you should have at least 10 XRP in your possession by the time the year 2025 comes to a close. Because of the possibility that this may actually turn you into a multi-millionaire overnight, it is the most critical step that you are ever going to do. The correct amount of XRP that you require is merely 10 XRP, as stated in the data. There are those of you who have millions of XRP, some who have hundreds of thousands, others who have tens of thousands, others who have only thousands, and others of you who have nothing. And they are the individuals who are going to be the most likely to lose out on the opportunity, because in reality, all you need is 10 XRP to have the possibility of creating riches that will last for generations. In order to make it possible for you guys to get free XRP, we have actually formed a partnership with Upple, which is the most prominent exchange for XRP. To complete a transaction, all you need to do is like the video, subscribe to the channel, post alerts, and share this video. After that, you can sign up and upload using the link that I provide in the description, and you will have completed the transaction. When it comes to the transaction, the sum might be anything at all. Literally, it may be 1 penny, $1, $10, or any other quantity that you like. You will receive up to $100 worth of free money, which you can then use to purchase XRP, provided that you sign up for the service and complete a transaction, which is a procedure that takes a total of 5 minutes to complete. When you take advantage of this opportunity, you will not only have the opportunity to get a substantial quantity of XRP for yourself, but you will also not be required to spend a single dollar on it. The money is going to be yours in a literal sense. All you need to do is devote 5 minutes of your time to the process. In addition, you will not receive 10 XRP either. Rather, you are going to receive 50 or 100 XRP, which you can then put away for your future so that you can let your children to generate riches that will be passed down from generation to generation. Since Brad Garlinghouse himself stated that Swift 14% of the volume they transact, which is over $1.44 trillion, would actually inflow into the XRP price in just 5 years, this 5 minutes of your time could literally make you multiple millions of dollars in the future, in the next 2, 3, 4, or 5 years. This 5 minutes of your time could literally make you millions of dollars, even if the price of XRP is presently 2.118 and it has enabled a volume of around $1.53 billion. The fact is that the true worth of XRP is far more than that. This may sound insane, but it is the truth. When you take a step back and look at the bigger picture, you can see that supply shock might occur at any time. Not only are you going to receive $1.5 trillion from Swift, but we are also going to receive trillions from all of the institutions who are attempting to get their hands on the XRP ledger. To be more specific, over 4,000 financial institutions have declared their intention to utilize XRP by the end of the year 2025. We are going to discuss a few of these organizations below. Furthermore, these establishments are extremely important components of the ecosystem as a whole. The fact that JP Morgan has officially accepted XRP for payments on credit cards and mortgages has been confirmed by Google and a number of other sites. On the other hand, Fargo has permitted payments in XRP for payments on loan debts and credit card debts. In addition, it has been proven that we have an executive from Wall Street who has stated that selling XRP is comparable to selling Apple shares in its early days. And this comes as a result of yet another big cooperation in which Ripple joined the Bank of International Settlements, also known as the BASE, in order to allow payments that span more than $14.5 trillion through the International Derivatives Market or Association. And if you can believe it, it's not just institutions, it even extends to a higher level on a global country reserve level. James, the Ripple official who handles cross-border payment integration, has revealed that more than 30 countries around the world have announced that they will be constructing a central bank digital currency known as a CBDC on the XRP ledger, possibly within the next couple of months. He also emphasized that they are in discussions with a larger number of individuals. This is a live broadcast and this is a clip that you may or may not have heard. However, here is the report, and that is what I am going to go over in a brief manner. This is going to be something that you pay special attention to for a short period of time, but he makes it quite apparent that you should look at the figures here. At this very moment they are going to appear. In the process of constructing a CBDC on the XRP ledger, there are 5 nations that have formally started the process and are virtually finished. There are 5 that have been given permission to be integrated, and they are going to begin integrating a CBDC on the XRP ledger. Additionally, there are 20 more companies who have really communicated with Ripple in order to convey the idea that we would like to construct a CBDC on top of the XRP ledger. It is a big amount. Here we are talking about 15.3% of the countries in the world. Again, you are referring to 30 different countries. In addition, the size of these countries includes Japan, the United Arab Emirates, Russia, and a number of other countries. All of you, please have a look at this report that was provided by Ripple. Business is what crypto implies. CBDCs were added to the XRP ledger. The Republic of Palau is available to you. Russia, Montenegro, Uruguay, Hong Kong, Japan, New Zealand, and the United Arab Emirates, sometimes known as the UAE, are included among the countries that are included. There are undoubtedly a great number of more nations that are also included on the list, but they have not yet been disclosed to the public and have not been made public so that individuals such as ourselves are aware of them. However, the actual news here is that one of the major organizations is adding more than $650 trillion to the XRP ledger. This is something that we want to investigate in great detail. It is true that Relay is releasing $654.39 trillion onto the XRP ledger by utilizing their native token, which is the real token and is also based on the XRP-PL. One thing that caught my notice is the fact that $10 million is being paid for each XRP. We are going to get into this in a moment. At the very least, this is what we are considering for the price of XP, or at least $1 million for each XRP. When 10 XRP is equal to $10 million, it was stated by E7 that this news was published in the year 2022, and it claims that in the future 10 XRP will be equivalent to $10 million. He brought attention to the fact that Bitcoin was only a test of XRP, which will be the first token worth multiple millions of dollars, and that in the future 10 XRP will be equivalent to $10,100,000. Don't act like a fool. Before the bank goes online, you should act as the bank. And he is a Smitty. Can you think of something that both of them have in common? In any case, the allusion is to XRP, and Bitcoin is the focus of the discussion. East Smitty has brought attention to the connection of XRP to Bitcoin because of its similarities. It was brought to everyone's attention by Brad Gerlinghouse, the chief executive officer of Ripple, who recently stated that Bitcoin will hit 200,000, but XRP will surpass it. Forbes has brought attention to the fact that XRP is supposed to be purchased for $10,000 and must be scalable to handle 7.5 billion individuals. In point of fact, that was Arthur Brito, the co-founder of XRP. Nevertheless, I believe that it was indicated in one of the articles that they had removed that the next Bitcoin is XRP and that it is going to be priced at $59,472 or something along those lines. At this point, all of the figures are tied to the price of Bitcoin, and XRP will eventually overtake Bitcoin. XRP is now on an entirely other level, and this is the point at which things start to get serious. I mean thousands of dollars in an instant because of a single simple event that causes supply shock, and this is where wealth will be generated because this is a short-term situation. We are not talking about years, but we are talking about days or weeks, where the introduction of $654 trillion will begin to flow, and it is all going to be completely real through the use of the real token that is built on the XRP ledger through XRP. The following is what we need to make absolutely clear. Within the next 2 to 3 weeks, the RealFi institution is really onboarding $654 trillion worth of real estate market and real-world assets into the XRP ledger. This has the potential to take place as soon as possible. Furthermore, they have informed the Relay team that they are in the final stages of boarding a large institutional collaboration that would release millions of dollars into transactions inside the RealFi ecosystem and in the active use of the real token. This announcement was made in addition to the fact that they have introduced themselves. What is even more absurd is the fact that the actual token gets created once more on the XRP ledger. That is to say, each and